right? But typically by this time, we say about 50% people says that, for whatever all this reason combined, you guys are a much better version, compared to a breakage. I'm signing up. The other 50% are like, yeah, I can see your point. It is awesome, but I'm pretty happy with the breakage. It's a lot of work to switch, right? Even though I don't have any of those immediate needs, and
Hmm.
this is typically the one push them over. Right. And also even include actually we have three clients that get a full version package for free from the ConnectWise command program, right? They give the full version for free. They
Yeah.
eventually did the migration. Here's why. What the heck is this bot means, right? So this is what the pinpoint a lot of people. I get one company says, hey, I have 15 TVs on the around my big, bullpen, right? That's awesome. Who's watching it? Well, I'm watching it, whenever I work by, I look at it, right? It's keywords is whenever, right? And the technician, they're supposed to, right? So end of the day, here's the thing, right? You have a team lead, you, Brian, everybody. The official training is, hey, Daniel, you are the one watching this for 15 numbers, right? So I want
Hmm.
you to spend probably like 2 hours a day in total, spread it between every 10 minutes, 20 minutes. I want you to look at it, say, oh, this number become red, something's wrong, right? So click it and go figure out, oh, this is John, this is Daniel, this is Kevin, right? Go tap on their shoulder, tell them what happened, why it's important, and what they should do. And if they all fix their stuff, then this one go back to green, and do it every single day, right? I'm willing to pay you $30 an hour, allocate 2 hours of your day, right, to do it, or 3 hours. How many people actually execute that? From my survey, less than 5% people say, yes, my service manager doing that. Whoa, you find the unicorn, right?
Right.
Number one, it's a very expensive, rarely get done. And even you find the unicorn, that's $100 a day, right?
Right.
20 some days a month. How much it costs you, right? So here we create this one. We use this one we call the bots, right?
Hmm.
To give you to mimic how you train hire people to do it, right? So instead of say, Daniel, you're hired as a team lead to watch this one, we say let's create a bot. I show you quickly. We call it this micro training bots, right? They're multifaceted, methodologies to get it done.
Hmm.
So yeah, like for the package user, we do this. We call it the free. We do the free migration, right? Whatever all the stuff you're using, we migrate all your the dashboard the way exactly how it looked like. Move
Hmm.
to, we offer that free migration. So and anything we migrated, you can just click create bots, right? So if you look at it here, I want the bots trigger when this widget called bridge resolution
Hmm.
is more than zero, right?
Right.
Which is the definition of the red.
Right.
And I want it to repeat. Please check it every 5 minutes between the 8 to right whatever,
8 to 5.
and
Yep.
yeah, Monday through Friday, or sometimes it's maybe Saturday. Well, you don't work
Hmm.
Saturday, okay? Let's remove Saturday, right?
Right.
So this is a typical your standard training, right? So it basically what do you want about it? What is considered as a problem, and how often I should check it, and when, which time frame I should check it, right? But if you here you can see, remember we have about 470 some of the widgets, 80,
Hmm.
and also whatever your gauge is, we can also put in. So you can select anything here, right? If it's a widget, we can mount in it, right? So anywhere of those 30 some integrations, right? 30 integrations, any widgets, what's going on? Any widgets. And remember,
Hmm.
we have only 170 data set or anything in the system, right? We can
Hmm.
say any of this, right? Expenses, right? So you say, what is wrong with the expense? If the company name equals this, and whatever, right? It's not
Hmm.
invoiced, right? You get a point, right?
Yep.
any data, any criteria, or if you have a machine learning, we're actually working on right now, right? When people send you an email, create a ticket, or they updated the time entry is a closed loop, we can do a sentiment analysis, right? Which is there are tons of open source or the APIs available. We have 83% confidence that this client is agitated, frustrated, angry, happy, right? You saw those stuff everywhere now, right? It's just easy to do. We can say if the time entry sentiment, right, is 83%, 80% higher confident as annoyed, right? Then send the management dispatcher or the team leads up, right? Or something
Mm,
like the QuickBooks bill wasn't paid for 12 days. Server has been offline for more than 2 hours. Oh, then the ConnectWise agreement, we have a two total care server management, but in the Vim backup, they only have one server backed up.
mm-hmm.
Likely, right? You charge people 400 and you're not doing the backup? Seriously? Right? So something, anything you can describe. Of course, some are super easy, right? Is the time entry late or not? Super simple. But something like combine the two data set is more difficult. But it can be done, right? It's just a
Hmm.
time commitment, right? So any data, any criteria, well,
Any
we have
schedule.
it advanced, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
literally any minutes, any hours, right? You can say, oh, I only wanted to blah blah hour, or even you
Mm-hmm.
said only the 6 o'clock, 13 and 20. I don't know why you do that, but it's 3 times a day, right? You want
Right.
to happen. So whatever data, whatever criteria, even including machine learning or combined multiples, three, four. Uh, hey, QuickBooks says they're unpaid, and but their QuickBooks says they're paid, and their data set, their server is managed, and the backup is not happening. Oh, by the way, this client agreement is more than 30 days because it's first 30 days, maybe it's onboarding. Therefore, the backup is not set up yet. That's
Yeah.
fine, right? So whatever you can clearly define it, we can trigger. That makes sense here?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So now, you hire this bot, right? You'll say, oh, that number is red, whatever reason, right? Whatever the background, the number is red. Now what?
Mm-hmm.
Like you or brand, any owner, any management, you don't go there just, oh, let me just fix it, right? You go there, reach out, hey, Daniel, John, Joe, Mary, what's going on, right?
Right.
So because you can clearly define the criteria, so here you know exactly who should be notified, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
not a generic like, oh, click that one, find out who's responsible. You already know who's responsible,
Right.
right? So you can say, oh, it's a ticket updated by, or it's like a time entry created by, or you say, oh, you're the service dispatcher, you're the manager,
Mm-hmm.
whatever, right?
Right.
So whoever it is, then you can use this one as something like, okay, you can use tokens, right? Whatever it
Mm-hmm.
is. So our suggest, of course, you can use something like, hey, Daniel, dumbass, go get the job done, right? Don't do that, right? Joke aside, point is that you can do whatever you want, right? But
Mm-hmm.
our suggested is what happened, why it's important, right? And
Right.
how you should fix it. This is our standard. We say how you compile your message to make it more meaningful,
Right.
right? I'll give you a couple of examples. We have generating our environment, right? Hey, you forgot to write the time entry, next step in
Mm-hmm.
time entry, right? So some other stuff. You're in progress for too long. You're level one tech. You are researching this ticket for 67 minutes. Stop.
Mm-hmm. Escalate the ticket now. Right.
Escalate, right? We're chasing them. It's like, please escalate. Stop researching. Your level two
Mm-hmm.
tag maybe only take 5 minutes can solve it. You already wasted an hour, right? So something like this. So we were. This is what happened, right? So
Mm-hmm.
this is undisputable fact, right? If you
Right.
don't believe me, go click it. It will go to the ConnectWise to show you, right? So this is what happened. You have a time entry is late for 7 minutes. Why I'm receiving the message and why should I care? because always explain why, right? Because once
Right.
people understand why, they're much more likely they're gonna follow the instruction, right? Then
Right.
you have the how. We give you this example. This is a 2 minutes video, right? We show people, step by step, right? This one, we give you as example, but the easy one is there are tons of screen capture tools, free ones, paid ones. Some of them you can even put your heads here, right? The webcam with your head. So think
Mm-hmm.
many times you do what you do is you go there, you say, oh man, Daniel made that mistake again. You walk to the Daniel's desk. I see Daniel, see that number turned red because you did something or you didn't do something, right? So give me your keyboard and mouse, let me show you. You say if you go to the ConnectWise here, click at this, then click
Mm-hmm.
here, right? Make sure you do this. Be careful about this one, right? If this situation you do this, that situation. In this case, we don't even suggest you say if this situation you do this, if that situation you do that. Why? Because you know exactly what the situation.
Right.
Okay? Don't make the technicians think. It's just like this is what exactly what happened. This is exactly what you need to do. Because every time if you say, oh, if this you do this, if that you do that, but if this happened, then you just get people confused, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you just made it more difficult for people to learn. And it takes longer. This video going to become longer and longer every time you say, if this, then you do that.
Right.
Because you know exactly what happened. So we suggest you just, this is what happened. This is exactly what you need to do. One, two, three, four. Done. Therefore, this is only two
Two
minutes.
minutes.
So it's not those 1 hour training. People probably would start wondering, when the happy hour or the 20 minutes along the way, right? The mind is already wandered somewhere else, right? So this is why what do we call the micro training, which be considered the best training you can offer, not one of Z. It's the best training you can give to the employees for the
Mm-hmm.
in the job training, right? There's two key component here. Number one, this is because it's real time, right? It's very close, or a couple minutes, or in a couple hours when people made a mistake, right? Psychologists or the neurologists already researched this. Whatever you're training your kids, your pet, your employee, same thing. You don't tell your dog, hey, bad dog, last Monday you pooped in the living room, right?
Yeah.
Like confused, like what are you saying? But it's just like the closer you can give people feedback, right? The sooner you can give people feedback, people are easier to create
Yeah.
those neural links, right? Oh, they correlate the stuff. The memory is all about the neural link, right? Or
Right.
because of this, I remember that, right? So they establish that, oh, the immediately I made a time entry, 10 seconds later, bam, the MS boss says, I was wrong, and here's how, here's why. Oh, okay. That's much easier for people to correlate these two things. Number two, because it's very specific, right? So it's a short, right? The smaller content, the easier to digest. Everybody have this attention span. Some people it's probably an hour, but many people probably like 5 minutes, right? So the shorter you can provide, the more precise and shorter you can provide the content, is easier for people to remember. Yeah, it's very difficult to remember 1 hour training. It should be pretty easy to remember 5 minutes training, right? So
Mm-hmm.
so this is today's world, right? I guess you guys probably suffer the same thing. In my peer group, everybody have challenge to find the good employees, right? Hire is a big problem. So they start hiring the high school kids, right? In order to do the job. So this is what's the best for the new employee. Instead of give them 5 days ConnectWise University training, which they probably only remembered 5% by the end of the day, right? If the
We
super
do that.
smart one, yeah, remember like 20%, right? It's like,
Mm-hmm.
wow, you really remember 20%? Oh my God, right? But sorry, Monday go start using ConnectWise, right? Then next 3 months they're useless. They're actually not beyond the useless because they create a lot of problems for you.
Right.
But that's just the reality. But think about it. We're working. We have this engine, right? Where our goal is to get 100. Right now we only have 30, 40 bots. but our goal is a couple hundred bots, right? You start only turn on this certain with the new employees. When the Jason made the very first late time entry, bots boom is there. And Jason is a good kid, right? Willing to learn, want to learn, right? Really passionate about entering the IT industry. Like,
Mm-hmm.
is this 5 minutes, right? Jason understand English. Jason willing to invest 5 minutes. Oh, I remember. It's kind of like I mentioned. If anything's
Mm-hmm.
standing, you can ask, right? Then the good part, the boss is 24/7, no vacation, no sick time, treat everybody same, and no capacity issue.
Right.
We have 200 employees in our MSP, right? They treat everybody same. It's not like, oh, I got too busy. I let you slide this time,
Right.
right? But Jason gonna get punted every single time. It take 21 days, right? You probably heard it to form a new habit, right? If Jason want to learn, willing to learn, it's gonna be first he made a couple of, oh man, Tom, why I did it again? Oh my God, I'll be careful. Then bam, it's again. But you can see it's less and less and less. 2 3 weeks later, Jason just become a subconscious habit. He doesn't even think about it anymore because he just do it the correct way, new habit form. What if Jason is not a, you probably have those employees that like, what? It's only 8 hours from a happy hour. You know, I still 8 hours away from my happy. Don't care about the bots, right? They don't even care about the employee, other manager sometimes.
Right.
So this is where we say we get the step three. We say, what's the threshold? Even your best employee make mistakes. You don't want to be on that every single time, right? If you made a couple of mistakes, who cares? You're human. All human make mistakes. So you can set this threshold per day, per week, per month, right? How
Mm-hmm.
often, how many mistakes or these bots you can trigger before we said, nah, it's not good, right? Whatever. It's a 3, it's a 30, it's 13, whatever you want to do. Then when it's get reach that threshold, the level one with like bots to say, hey, Daniel, you keep triggering these bots. Are you sure you know what you're doing? If you need help, can you reach out to your manager? Right? Otherwise, the system will notify your manager after 6 times. Right? Then you
Mm-hmm.
step two. The step two start kick in. Right? Hey, this is the 6 times or whatever, 10 times, 15 times. It
Mm-hmm.
starts between the team leads.
No, right.
Right? Then service manager, director IT, business owner, owner's wife, right?
Right.
Whatever, or HR, right? So HR started writing up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. But the bottom line is just because the employees get busy, don't care, team leads on vacation, then the problem doesn't exist anymore. End of the day, as a COO, when client is screaming over the phone, they're not going to say, "Oh, Daniel was sick. Okay, don't worry about it. My
Yeah,
problem
no.
isn't." I don't care, right? You're still the one being responsible. So we said, rather nobody say anything, it's better you get notified. But you want to make sure, right? So those are only reach you after 13 threshold. You give
Mm-hmm.
the team leads the opportunity to fix it first before it reach you.
Right.
So this is the kind of so this is what we said. Some people call it as mini me, right? So be there meanings, right? So you have all the bots. You can create, as you can see, hundreds of them, right? Doing the job for you, 24/7, no attitude, no capacity issue, barely making any mistake, and do exactly what you
What you
said
tell it.
every single
Yeah.
time, and no matter how many employees you have, right?
Daniel, do you guys have a bunch of pre-built bots? Like, are these
Yes.
pre-built with the language and everything? So,
Yeah, those are, this is the next step, like this kind
uh-huh.
of chasing for the utilization,
Yeah.
right? And you didn't attach the configuration.
Mm-hmm.
So open honestly,